All right, so we had this whole explainer ready to go for you today. It was going to be a deep dive into an article on the housing market. We had our sources, the notes, everything, and then, boom, we hit a wall. A digital wall, actually. And honestly, it sparked a way more interesting question for us to tackle.
So this is where we were headed, Inman.com. We were just trying to get to this one piece of research to break down for you all. Pretty standard stuff for us. But we couldn't even get to the article, didn't even see the headline.
Because this popped up, I'm sure you've seen this a million times, right? Verify you are human. And it just stopped us cold. No source material for us. So, we did what you do, we threw out the whole plan. And we decided to investigate this message instead. So this is the explainer about the explainer we couldn't make.
Let's just unpack this thing. This digital roadblock. It's got to be one of the most universal experiences on the internet, but have you ever really stopped to think about it? Like, what does it actually mean? I mean, it really all comes down to this one question. Why are websites constantly asking us to prove we're human? Why this interrogation? Why do I have to prove I'm a person just to, read an article? What is happening behind the scenes here?
Well, the short answer is there's an invisible threat out there, and it's operating on a scale that is it's hard to even wrap your head around. We are talking about the rise of the bots.
And that brings up a really important point. That little checkpoint, that prove you're human test, it's not actually for us. It's designed to stop something else entirely.
Okay, so to get why the test works, you gotta understand how different we are from bots. Humans, right? We're kind of slow, relatively speaking. We click around, we pause, we read things. We're unpredictable. A bot, though, it's a program. It's lightning fast. It does the same thing over and over and over again, maybe millions of times a minute. And that is what these tests are looking for.
So, how in the world do you stop something like that? Well, to solve this problem, the internet basically needed a bouncer, a digital doorman for pretty much every website.
And that doorman has a name. I guarantee you know it, even if you have no idea what it stands for. It's CAPTCHA. And get this, it's an acronym for Completely Automated Public Turing Test to Tell Computers and Humans Apart. It is literally a test inspired by the computing pioneer Alan Turing with just one job: tell the difference between a person and a machine.
The whole idea behind it is so simple but so clever. You create a test that's super easy for a person, like you don't even have to think about it, but really, really hard for a computer. It's a simple test with a huge job.
So here's the basic logic. First, the website gives you a little challenge that needs, human eyes and a human brain. Think about those squiggly letters, or picking out all the pictures with a bus in them. For us, it's a piece of cake. But for a bot that just thinks in rigid code, trying to understand all that messy real-world stuff is a nightmare for it.
All right, so that's the tack. But let's zoom out. Why should you actually care about this? Well, because that annoying little box you have to click on, it's actually the front line of a huge, invisible war for an internet we can all actually use and trust. You know that feeling, right? The little sigh you let out when you see a CAPTCHA? It feels like such a pain, just one more annoying step. But it's not just an obstacle, it's really a shield, and it's protecting the whole system.
So what kind of damage are we talking about here? What are these things actually stopping? Well, think about it. They're stopping bots from flooding comment sections with spam and scams. They're stopping bots from instantly buying up all the tickets to a concert the second they go on sale. They stop them from illegally scraping your personal data, from bearing a product with thousands of fake reviews, and even from totally overwhelming a website and crashing it.
And the scale of this is, well, it's just mind-boggling. Estimates say that these systems block something like 4.6 billion malicious bot attacks. And that's not per year or per month, that's per day. Every single day. That is a tidal wave of garbage that's being held back by asking you to find a fire hydrant. So when you look at it like that, suddenly that little pause, that quick check to make sure you're real, it kind of seems like a small price to pay, right? For an online world that's safer, more authentic, and well, more human. But this isn't the end of the story. Not even close. This has always been an arms race. As AI gets smarter and smarter, the bots get better and better at beating these tests, which means the tests have to get harder. And it leaves us with a really big, kind of scary question for the future. When AI can master pretty much every human task, how are we going to prove who's real?